Okay, I guess we can get started, and if people trickle in, they trickle in. This is the koha-US uh, July web dev thing. Does anybody have anything they wanted to talk about? Burning questions about web development in Koha, or bugs, or issues, things you're playing with, things you broke, etc., etc. I have a couple of bugs we can look at that I've just run into recently. The first one has to do with uh, data table headers doing funky things, and I wanted to see if other people had noticed it too, or if it's just my own frustration. I will share my screen. So specifically, we've noticed it on the hold queue, where if you're trying to scroll down, it like hangs up on the header and does this annoying bouncy thing. Is anybody else
Yes,
seeing that? Okay.
we have actually seen it on non-Koha websites as well. However, we get it in WorldShare, so
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if it's Koha, but we have seen it elsewhere.
For
It
us,
does
it's
seem.
only
Oh, go
Koha.
ahead. Sorry, Charlie, what?
Oh, no, I'm just saying for us, we've people from multiple branches have reported this issue. So we were going to submit a ticket today, but it's been happening since Cloudflare. So we thought maybe it could be related to Cloudflare. But yeah,
I think, I don't know. I think it's a data tables thing, and I think it's a Chrome specific thing because I can't get it to do it in Firefox. Um, I see you unmuted, Christy.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna agree with you.
Okay.
well,
So I
we'll
did find this bug 37024, which I see Ben you commented on. I just wondered, I guess there's not like there's the bug that it references that says it's fixed, where the scrolling glitch, which is a duplicate of this one, which is saying when they upgraded it, maybe it happened. I don't know. I think we've mostly only seen it within the past month or so. So when we upgraded to like 24.11.05, I think is when we started really seeing it. So I guess I will go in and add my comments to this one since it's open and new, and then if that's wrong, someone can redirect my complaints in Bugzilla. Um, so I'll put this one in chat if anybody else wants to comment on it as well. So that was one thing I wanted to ask about. The other thing is just something I've been playing with. So I've been working on setting up the cash registers for our consortium. Um, and I found that the user experience for logging in when that's turned on is not the most fun thing. So, and there's a bug about this as well, which I'll put in chat before I start screen sharing. So, um, that one is asserting that cache management needs default register settings per user, which is kind of what I need too. You can set a default for the library branch. Here's the bug. Um, so like if I go to login, I can set the default for each branch to use a specific cache register. But the way that we have some of my libraries set up is they've got an upstairs cache register and a downstairs cache register. And the upstairs people are always logging into one, the downstairs people are always logging into the other one. So it would be nice to be able to say this cache register is associated with a person rather than a branch. So what I've been playing with is storing that information in the background. Um, Realizing that something, oh, I turned off some stuff. So like I have it set up where you can pick your branch, and I gotta pick one that has multiple registers, and then you pick your register, and then it remembers that in the browser settings. So um, that's probably gonna work for me for the most part, I think. But I don't really like people being able to change this, so I had it disabled in my live system. If I go over there and log, that's not it. New control, go out of the way. So if I log out of here, currently I don't have registers on in my live system, and I have this drop down disabled because I don't really want people to be able to change their branch anyways. But I can't really do that with the cache register setup, because if you leave it at my library, you don't get the options because it doesn't know what library you're at. So you have to pick the library that has multiple registers so that you can pick your cache register at login. So I found when I was testing this, it doesn't matter if you have this turned on. Sort of, I think this is a bug. So like, if I pick Iola, which has multiple registers here, and then pick a register that's specific to Iola, this patron does not have permission to change libraries. Like, they can't go, they've got that permission taken away. So when I log in, it logs them in as their default library, but it still logs them in under the Iola register. So like, this doesn't, no, this is false now. It logged me in as the other person because of the token. Let me try again. Okay, so it logged me in under their home branch because they don't have permission to change branches. But it also logged me in under Iola's register because that's not included in the permission. So I think that's a bug that needs filed because it's letting me set, like, pick a register at login that I shouldn't be able to because of my branch restrictions. So I was playing with like adding little locks and toggles and stuff to the login screen, but I think it was overkill. I can show you what that looks like.
How would you recreate this if you weren't using some custom JS to force this?
You can't. I mean, as far as actually, let me think about that. If we turn, actually, let me disable all of that and see. But we're not storing the variable. I think you're right. I think it's my custom that's allowing it, because you wouldn't be able to say I want, well, you would be able to though. So I'm logging in as the Altamont person. I want them to be Iola mistakenly, and I want them to pick an Iola Reddit. They can't. Why? There. Okay. Yeah, that was bugged out. Okay, so I've mistakenly picked a register and a library for a library they can't log in as. And it did still log them in as their home branch because they can't change it, but the wrong register.
Okay.
But,
Yeah, that
yeah,
definitely seems like a bug.
yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been playing with. And then if I turn this back on, I can show you the little toggly thing that I was thinking about. So like having locks on here where people have to forcibly change their stuff. Like it has to be a cognitive decision that they're picking the wrong thing. But there's no way, since you're not logged in yet, to restrict them because there's no branch code associated with the login until you actually log in. That's the main thing I've been doing with the cache registers. The other thing I want to do is like, I don't really want it to show up here which register they're on unless they have multiple registers at their library. So I was going to adjust that. I don't know if it's, yeah, I don't want them like switching things if they don't need to be switching things. I don't want them to be able to unset the cache register after they've logged in, because I feel like that's going to cause confusion too. So that's what I've been playing with. Always wind up going down rabbit holes with these things. Like, I wish I could use it out of the box, but I feel like if I use it straight out of the box, then I'm gonna have messes. So I feel like I need to put training wheels on for my people, which I don't know. I have trust issues. I know that.
I feel like it is in its default configuration, pretty hard to screw up the cash register without like logging into the wrong branch or whatever. Seems you can change amounts, and I guess that's maybe an issue, but
My bigger problem with it is it's not that consortial friendly because I had to go in and set up a register for every single
Yeah.
branch before I can turn it on. So
Okay.
that's been the bulk of the work. And then
Yeah.
like setting up actual products for sale in it, like I went back and forth on, do I make a sort of neutral product or do I make a branch specific product because everybody sells the copies at a different rate, and it's become a bloated mess at this point, but I'm just sort of rolling with it. Somebody else can clean that up after they come after me, I guess.
One of the reasons we dropped out of a consortium is the simultaneous need to want to be independent, but also to want a consistent rule set. And it was just like, if I did it again, it would be everyone follows my rules. And I realize that's not realistic, but
Yeah, especially this far into it. And when we started, it was local control is the guiding tenet. Each branch gets to act independently. So, for the most part, we all get along, and it does, like, over the years, it has been, Koha's gotten better about that. Like, even on the invoiceable items, the sellable items, you can set branches. So, like, only certain branches can use it, and I can make shared stuff. It could use a little work there to to make it even better, more expandable.
I have something I've kind of been I've been looking in the jQuery library and I haven't quite figured out how to do it yet, but one thing we use Twilio for SMS text messages, and I don't know if it's just us or everyone that uses Twilio, but if you don't put a +1 in front of the SMS number, it just doesn't go out. And I'd kind of like to put in Koha just a little note by the SMS field, like, you got to put a +1 here. Let me see, what does it say right now? So
do you have any numbers that would not be +1, or is it everything's going to be US?
So you would think that I would use the jQuery that says like just automatically add +1 from the phone number. It's really handy, and we looked at that. There is one in the jQuery library. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. So it's this. The problem is we let our customers update their information in Aspen too, and there's nothing right now forcing them to add that +1. So we're not going this route yet. Sorry, go ahead.
We don't use Aspen. Custom jQuery not, or custom JavaScript not supported in Aspen.
So we could put a note on there, but like, so basically we're just initially trying to figure out the best way to do this, because they're, it could be staff members entering a number, it could be patrons updating it themselves, they could be filling out the application from Patron Point, and that's how their patron account gets created. So it's a few different things here. So as a start, I was like, well, without forcing anything to actually go in the field, could I just put a little note in where it says SMSnumber, like, could I just add a little note that says, please remember to put in +1 or something around there? And so I've tried playing around a little bit with the web developer tools to kind of try and figure out where I would need to touch this, and I haven't had luck yet. Let me see if I can get the tools out and see if I can find I was doing this in Firefox initially, and it was somehow like it's a really handy thing, but also a frustrating thing when it'll like let you move the containers and so it like actually changes on the screen, and that is pretty disorienting. So let's see, they're saying this is span class label SMSnumber. See if I can get this copied here. Oop, it didn't do it. Of course it didn't. One sec. Label SMSnumber. So like if I just changed that label to add some of the text in there, would it do that, or
So are you
No.
looking at the staff client or the OPAC?
staff plant? Sorry, I should have said that.
Okay, let me share my screen because I have
Okay.
modified this a little bit.
Okay.
So if I turn off my jQuery right now, like, is this what you're seeing where it says SMSnumber and then please enter number?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so what
Oh,
I
I'm looking-
did to change that was I just changed this hint text to say numbers must be entered as the following. 10 digits, blah, 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 blah. So that's slightly different than the like base note, which also says you have to have a plus and a 1-1. So to do what I did, I just, if I inspect, I looked and if you use the little selector, you can grab that specific chunk. You can see that that chunk is the SMS number help is the class on
Right.
that. So that's your selector for the jQuery. So I gotta find it in here. Oh, it's right here. I had it pulled up and then I scroll past it. Okay, so class, if it's a class, you do a dot. If it's an ID, you do a hashtag. So dot SMS help number. And for this, I'm just using I'm replacing the text. So there's just text in there, and I want it to have some different text. So I can use the dot text, whatever you call that, chunk, and say, put this text in this class. So I'm looking at just this class, SMSnumber help, and I'm putting within that class, I'm putting that exact text.
Okay. Could I see the JSON?
Yeah, I can put it in the chat for you too.
Thank you.
I
That
feel
was
like
exactly what I was looking for. Thank you. Sorry, I have a really bad cough that has not gone away in like 3 weeks.
has anybody tried doing this with just the input mask on this field?
I don't know what that is. Can you
Yeah.
elaborate?
So you should, like, for example, you've seen forms that will format the number as you type it, right? Like those are existing libraries, and it feels like it wouldn't be difficult to add a +1 to that input mask, so it's just there. And it might be easier than all of this. I don't know if anybody's given that a shot. I may try it this week just to see if it can be done.
I think that's what the first chunk that Kristi shared was sort of
Okay.
doing. It's
They're
like
using
adding the +1 to the field automatically, which is something I need to implement, but I just haven't yet.
Right.
I had concerns because we do have international students at some of our colleges, but
Right.
it doesn't seem like they want to use texting for those numbers anyways. And I assume I could set it up in a way that like it's by default there's a +1, but if somebody wanted to backspace that out and put something different, they could.
And does you guys use the OPAC, so do you have something similar on the OPAC side of things?
Yeah, I redid the OPAC page a little bit. I can share that. Let me bring it.
We don't use the OPAC, I was just curious. If you had, like, if you touched it in this part. Well, I guess you would have to, because it's intranet user JS instead of OPAC JS. Thinking out loud.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same.
Okay.
Wording for that note specifically. So numbers must be entered with a +1. That's the same note. But I
Got
did
it.
some extra changes on this screen specifically just to make Twilio happier when we signed up for it. Like the messages about being able to opt out and that sort of thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's the exact same like chunk of code. I'm just replacing the hint on in the OPAC user JS instead.
Okay. So, just for like wider learning for myself when I'm doing that, so I've got to find that selector, and then it's dot that selector, and then dot text to change it to say something else.
If
And
it's a
I know
class, yeah.
it's
So let me share my screen again.
okay.
We'll go back to this one. So here, that span has the class
Mhm.
of SMSnumber help. So
Got
classes
it.
they can happen lots of times on a page. IDs should only happen once on a page. If it's an ID, we find one up here somewhere. Maybe here's an ID. So member entry subscription is an ID. So
Got
if I
it.
wanted to select that, I would use a hashtag sign instead.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and then you can do other selectors. Like I've got one that's the table header contains SMS, and I'm changing that to text. But yeah, your two core ones are if it's a class, you do dot and then the class name. And if it is an ID, you do hashtag and then the ID name. That make sense?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure why SMS number help is a class rather than an ID because it's only on the page once, but sometimes they happen interchangeably in the code.
Yeah, that is a little bit of a head scratcher.
I have message B. That's very interesting. That's pretty cool. I'll do that inspect thing from now on when I'm putting in new jQuery. Actually, I do have a question. I don't know. I've been trying to look for a cron job if it's even a thing. I'm trying to have a cron job or have some kind of like something to cancel a hold if there's no item on the record. Like the bib record is there and there's a hold on the account, but they were able to place the hold before there were no items on the account, but either the item was lost because of the previous patron had lost it or whatever happens. If it ends up being the bib doesn't have an item anymore to process the hold, we've had librarians going in and like deleting the holds and or repurchasing the item. But I was wondering if there is like a cron job or something that you guys know of where it would just cancel the hold if there's no item available. Is that a thing? Or for like specific like statuses or pop up on the, I don't know.
You could ask Bywater if there is, otherwise I think you might be able to get a report where it's here are holds on bibs where there's no item on the bib, and then you
Well,
would
yeah.
manually cancel them. I don't know if they've already drafted a report like that for you, or yeah, okay.
It looks like this isn't what you want. This is the only cron job that looks adjacent to that. That will cancel holds after a certain amount of time. So I mean, it would catch those eventually, but I don't see one that specifically targets these holds don't have items that can fill the holds, I would open a ticket because I know that they can do stuff with reports, like feeding reports to cron jobs. So if the report could automate the deletion, probably, if you can explain exactly the parameters you want it to do.
Perfect. I have the report that they created for us that they can use for that. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so just send them that report and say, hey, can this process be automated? And they might say no, but it seems like should be doable.
Right.
Do
Thank you.
you send cancellation notices?
Yeah. Excuse me. There's a drop down that says item is no longer available or like hold was canceled. Usually we don't.
Mhm.
Oh, the only thing we send is item is not available anymore, and they'll go to the library and ask why and stuff like that. But because the hold list is pretty small, we don't really pay much attention to it. So we're trying to have that taken off our plate completely so that we don't have to worry about it. If there is a request, we have a request, the material request on Aspen, so they can send in a request if we don't have that item anymore, but we don't want to have to deal with the holds and having that as something to go through and do it one by one or what have you. But yeah.
Do you automatically expire holds like after a certain amount? Okay. So there's a cron job for that one too. And it looks
Yeah.
like both that one and this cancel unfilled holds can take a cancellation reason, which will force it to send the message if that's something you wanted it to do.
Actually, we disabled it. That's right, because the circulation staff asked us to disable it so that when patrons call in and say we want it for a longer period of time, they want to be able to just reset it without forcing it to go back into the system for the next person on the list. So that's why we disabled it. So yeah, we're trying not to touch that process because we know that that's something that they've specifically requested. And this process that I'm talking about here, the unfilled holds with the no items available, that's for like a certain group of people that do like a maintenance project every couple of months.
Yeah, we have something similar. I call it my orphaned holds report, and I just put it on the circ page. And if anything pops up on there, the librarian has to actually go in and deal with it because we want them to recognize that that hold is never going to get filled, and they need to go out to our statewide system to get it from somewhere else. So I just made it like a visible thing rather than an automated thing.
Okay, maybe how do you make it visible?
I can show you what I'm talking about. Pictures, right? Worth more than words.
I'm visual learner too, so I'm sorry.
Let me get pulled up here. So, and this is again just jQuery. So on my circulation page, I have this report, the orphaned holds report, and this is just a link to the report results. So I added the little counter badge like I've done with the other stuff. So if there's something on the report, it'll say 1. So then they know, because they come to this page every day. Everybody's expected to run the holds queue every day. So it just sort of jumps out at them that, hey, one of our holds isn't going to get filled. I need to go in there and manage it, and then it's just a report from there that they go in and delete the hold and request it
Is that
somewhere else.
specific to the library that they're working in, or is it for the
Yeah.
whole system? Oh, can I?
Yeah, so that link runs directly for the branch I'm logged in at. And this hold counter thing is running a report that is limited, I think. Let's look. I think I've actually got it tied into this big messy circ dashboard thing that I have going on, which is a whole different thing, but okay, so this is commented out, so it's not that. So this is the big chunk of JavaScript jQuery that adds it to the navigation list. So it's just saying, hey, find the list that has holds queue in it, find its parent, and then add this list item to that parent list. The link is here, so it's saying run this report and pass the library code parameter, which I have set way up high in my JavaScript. So like libcode is one I use in a lot of things, which it was that thing I just scrolled past. Maybe I thought I had it set somewhere else too. But libcode is one I use. Yeah, here. So I have global variable set. So that's just pulling the library code from up here off the page and storing it in the background. So when I do something like that with my orphaned holds, it's got that variable stored, so I can just pull it out and sort of insert it into the building of the URL on that button. It also has some other junk going on in here. There's like a little spinner because it has to load every once in a while because of that big nasty report I mentioned. But that's building the link, and then to build the badge part, I think is a lot more complex. It's part of this chunk of code. So the circulation dashboard is this thing. So that used to live down there. So I was lazy and I just leveraged that code that I already written and moved this part. So it's grabbing the number of how many they have from this report, 2837, and then storing that, and then it's inserting it here into that link that I generated with the other bit of code. Was that confusing enough?
Don't worry, this meeting is recorded.
Okay. So really, if you don't want to do the count on it, it's a simple report link that you're adding to the navigation, which I will put in the chat for you. And I think I have documented this somewhere or another.
I'm on the jQuery site and I'm
It may be on my, let me,
really quick. Can I see your I think you were in the circulation module one more time, that little section at the bottom that you were issue tracker. Is that in the jQuery library by any chance?
doubtful. Because it's so like specific to our system. But I know I may have I know I shared it with someone else and they were able to implement it, but I think it might be like on my GitHub or something. I can dig it up and share it with you. Um, it it does require that report as well, which is the biggest, nastiest report in my system. Because it's just a bunch of different reports all in one big place. So it's declaring the library that's logged in up here, and then each report is union to the next report. And I don't know if this is really advisable because it is really
Wow.
slow to load that page, to
Oh,
load
okay.
that information. So, but I'm happy to share it if anybody wants to look at it and make it better. I just have to dig it up. So
I'd like to look at it. I might not implement it anytime soon, but it looks like something that our operations committee would promote, but circulation staff might not be a fan of if they're doing anything from the circ mod. Yes, please. Thank you.
I was just looking at my GitHub really fast to see if it was in there. I don't think it is. So I'll make a note so that it doesn't leave my site. And I'll just send it out to the list for the Google group for this group in case anybody else watching wants to look at my mess.
Thank you.
There's a jQuery plugin called Input Mask. I've been looking at this that would automatically format numbers as you type, and you could include the +1 prefix automatically. So all they would have to do is type in the number, and the +1 prefix will start the field.
Oh, what's the plugin called again?
It's called the Input Mask plugin. So you'd have to
Okay.
load that
And then
plugin,
configure it.
and then you could use the documentation for the plugin will kind of guide you into how you would write that code. Keep in mind that Input Mask covers like about 1 million different types of formats of things you might type. So
Yeah.
there's input masks for IP addresses and money and all kinds of stuff, but there is one for a
Okay.
phone, and you could include a prefix in it.
All right, something to think about. Thanks.
Ooh, there's one for social security numbers, just what I needed. No, don't store those in your database.
And that would just be like a general JavaScript or jQuery plugin.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Have you ever included plugins when using jQuery?
So I've included plugins specifically for Koha. I've installed those, but I've never been so bold as to try a basic, like a general jQuery one.
I'm wondering if I've got one in here. We used to use one for formatting address, and then it kind of some things changed and I didn't want to update it, so it might be gone. Yeah, so you have to run a get script function, a JavaScript script function to load the script. You know what? I'll put something together, and next time I'll bring it.
Okay, I mean,
Because
no worries if not. I don't
yeah,
know what anyone on a
but
use case.
this is actually something I might apply in other places. So
Okay. Interesting to find out.
I was trying to find examples in mine, like, you know, me and my priorities. I have included a confetti library in my system, so and I just put that using content delivery network SCDN in the nav element of all the pages on my site, using a script tag, and that seems to work. I don't know if that's probably the right way to do it, but like that's what I'm doing for my confetti browser, and that's just in my internet nav system preference, which puts it on every page, so I can leverage it on any page, and then I can call it with the jQuery on any page.
Is anybody having any issues with when submitting EDI orders lately
to whom?
to Baker and Taylor?
Hmm.
Like, we'll be able to download the mark onto our Koha, and then when we hit the button, it won't transfer to TS360, but it'll say ordered on Koha.
Yeah, we don't use Baker and Taylor anymore, precisely because of a lot of EDI issues, I think, is part of it. But that sounds like a real problem.
Yeah. who do you use mainly for
Ingram, we use Ingram.
There's-
We use Ingram and Midwest Tape, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, Midwest is pretty good for AV stuff. We just started with Ingram, if anything, but it's the M&M processing that we use with them.
Mhm.
So we're mainly Baker and Taylor, but yeah.
We found Ingram was a lot more organized than Baker and Taylor is, which can be bad sometimes when you're trying to get a hold of somebody to do something, but it also they're very clear about what the expectations are. So it was a lot easier to set up. We had Ingram's or ADI set up for Baker and Taylor, but Ingram was a lot easier and more consistent for us. But no, we're not having that issue, and that sounds very serious.
Mm.
We don't use EDI, so I can't help there.
We also
I do
don't
know-
use EDI.
We like just in general have had a lot of trouble with Baker and Taylor lately, like just getting books
Lately?
in.
Yeah.
I mean, we use Baker and Taylor a lot.
I feel like that's all vendors over the last 3 years, 3 or 4 years. It just seems to get, yeah. But I will say EDI, it's great when it works. Like
Yeah.
it's really good.
Yeah, we've been using it for the past 2 years and we love it. But whenever something like this happens, of course, there's a
Yeah.
halt.
Right. And then you're not ordering anything for a month or however long it takes.
Yeah, exactly. So based off of like what I've said, does this sound like an Baker and Taylor thing then? Because I know that there's a bug about EAN showing on EDI accounts when you do the drop click kind of thing. So I don't know if there's something going on with the EDI for Baker and Taylor, or if this is
Is it all orders or just okay? Yeah, I don't know.
Most orders.
Most orders.
Yeah. So
Is there a pattern to it?
not that we can see. It seems to happen at different times of the day. They're and different from different accounts. I even suggested that they go to another computer. Just I don't know what that would do because it's all online. But yeah, no, we've tried to find what is the reason, but it doesn't matter what fund you use, what
Does-
account you use.
Have you moved to Cloudflare already?
Yes, we have.
Oh,
And did like did you work with Baker and Taylor to get every cost
Yeah.
like because that and has this have things been okay since Cloudflare, or did the problem start around?
You know, that makes a lot of sense. I will.
Would maybe start with the ticket with Bywater, and if you have a contact that you've been working with at Baker and Taylor, I would include their email in the ticket and say, can you please loop this person in on this ticket? To sort of get them talking.
Yeah.
If possible.
Perfect. I will do that. Thank you.
Because yeah. Who knows if it's just like a setting or that needs to be.
yeah, some like IP that needs to get added to somebody's firewall or something.
Yeah, and the thing that's confusing to me is that we're still sending in like some orders are getting through.
One thing to look at is are you ordering duplicates on any of these? Like, how often are you ordering duplicate items that are already in the catalog?
Most of these items are supposed to be new.
Okay.
What I can see of the tickets that I'm getting, it seems like most of the items are new. There are like ads here and there, but it seems to be affecting both kind of equally, I want to say.
This was a while ago, but we did have some issues when orders contained a duplicate item. that it was not overlaying that. It was not importing any of the records from that order, new or duplicate.
Mm.
This doesn't sound like the same issue, but that it did pop up. I think it ended up being an issue in Ingram's end, but I can't remember the specifics. But if this is a mix of orders, then I don't think that's it.
Okay.
I found the bug that you mentioned earlier about EANs, and then there was another one about baskets failing if one library EAN exists. I don't understand any of this, but that one is pushed in 2505, so it may be related. I don't know.
No, we have we have multiple EANs. Okay, thank you.
Was there anything else people wanted to talk about today? If not, we can.
So my sister's yarn shop used to be yarns at the Adobe, and she's renamed it, I think, since she bought it earlier this year. Yes.
I have been there.
Okay.
Not as much as some of my other spots. I used to go to Beverly's a lot, but
okay. So she reopened earlier this year. I guess the old owner was getting out, and so if you see her, say hi.
okay, I will. It's such a small world. I love it.
I googled it. Is it the Whimsical Wool Yarn Shop?
That sounds right. That sounds like a
Nice.
thing my sister would name a thing.
All right. Well, mystery solved. I think we can probably call this one a wrap. And we will meet again this time. Will we meet again this time next month? Yes. Conference is until September. I don't know what's going on with SIGs at the conference. So I don't, but we'll have an August meeting. Might as well.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Bye.